So I get asked quite a lot, Mark. Look, we get the pipeline science, we understand it, we love it. We've seen your bell curves and we've seen the philosophy, but can you help us right here, right now? What can we do by way of creating a process or a system or a strategy or a plan to move forward? And really, what people are asking me is, can you give me something really fresh that I've not thought about before? Or if I have thought about it, I've not been able to join the dots. So I wanted to really just create this as a bit of a gift. And what I'm calling it is a system to consider. So if you remember from pipeline science, as we drop down into those lower subheaders, one of them is pipeline construction. And within pipeline construction, we must look at pipeline engineering. Within that is the creation of your pipeline. Now, to create a pipeline, you also need to factor in and think about what would be a really great buying journey, what would be a really great sales journey and or process that would line up. So I've been fortunate enough to work with a range of businesses over the last sort of 7 to 8 years. And during that time, I've seen patterns, I've seen trends, as you can imagine. So I want to gift to you a system here that I would recommend you at least consider and have a think about. And I'm just going to talk you through now really the core elements of this system, and then highlight where are the big levers that you can pull down on very quickly really to see some change and to see some progress. So if we look at the system here, one of the things that you'll have heard me talk about before is how important and how powerful positioning can be. So positioning gives us a couple of things. It gives us clarity on what we do, who we do it for, and what its value and worth is. It also gives us certainty. Now, certainty is actually the certainty that we need in ourselves to move forward and do things with confidence. So actually, when you add up the clarity and the certainty, one of the immediate outputs here is confidence. And by confidence, I mean confidence to pick up the phone, to make that follow-up call, confidence to send that email out, that LinkedIn direct message, send that direct mail, go over and approach somebody at a networking event because you know they're within your target market or audience. That's what I mean when I say confidence to take action. So the positioning is really important because positioning is actually our first lever. So lever number one. Now, once we've got this done, and by the way, positioning is subject to change. We're not pinned down to this for the rest of our business life. It can be in flux, but we do need to get something down on paper. And like anything in life, if you want to get good at it, you got to start somewhere. So we start here with a draft version of positioning. That allows us to move forward and get massive clarity on our ideal customer profile, or ICP. And when I say massive, like I can't understate when I say massive clarity, to the point where you know where they live, what age they are, how many kids they have, what car they drive, what's keeping them up at night. And when they wake up in a cold sweat in the morning at 5 o'clock, what's the biggest problem on their mind? That level of clarity. And by the way, we can get to that level of clarity only once this has been done. Yeah. So that ICP clarity then allows us to move to, well, what should our updated messaging look like? Because usually what happens next after positioning is messaging needs to change. Doesn't always need to be overhauled. It does, as a very minimum, need to be reviewed. And I find there's often multiple tweaks and modifications that we make in line with this work that we've done on positioning and the ideal customer profile. Now, one thing that I find is often missing from the messaging is it's not written around the problem that we're removing, that we're solving, that we're taking away from our ideal client profile. So that must go in there as a main ingredient. It's a non-negotiable, in my opinion. So once we've got the updated messaging cracked, that helps us drive awareness. And it also then helps us create attraction. And by that, I mean like magnetic attraction. You should be looking to repulse anyone who is not your ideal client profile and magnetically draw towards you anybody that is. That's what we're not looking for middle ground here. If you're stuck in the middle with vanilla positioning and messaging, like that's a danger zone. We need to get you out of that as soon as possible. So once we've got this is starting to look really good. Now we're building up like good level of clarity, good level of confidence. And this exercise, yes, it's an investment in time and energy, but you're starting to feel really good by this point. So we're starting to think differently, our behaviors are changing, our energy levels are going up. Then we want to move to like this is the big thing. Like we want to put on our big boy pants now and do outreach. A lot of people think, whoa, we've always got our clients by just sitting here waiting for them to come towards us. I would say that's fantastic, but I want to encourage you to do outbound led inbound now. So that is, how can we send energy out into the marketplace, create a little bit of a ripple and some noise to say that we're here, this is what we do, and get people actually putting eyeballs on what we have to offer, moving towards us. So the outreach that we want to do, we absolutely want high efficacy here. And what I mean by that is we want to ensure that our outreach is actually landing. People are receiving it. They're either being repulsed by it or magnetically attracted by it, because that allows us to then gain feedback as to what mechanism, what results mechanism we use to drive the outreach. So just to build on that a little bit further, there's 3 things that we need to consider. And I'm going to credit this to Mike Herberts, who taught me about this and drilled this into my head. There's only 3 things, but we can't miss any of them. The first one is the market. What's the market that we're going out to address? Got to get really clear, but that becomes really easy once we've done this. We then need to decide what's the message. So we've already done our messaging, but what is the message that we're going to put in an outreach format? Slightly different, a little bit nuanced, but don't worry, we can absolutely help you. We got you back with that. Number 3 is media. So what is the media that we're going to use to go out and engage the market? Is it email? Is it cold call? Is it direct mail? Is it LinkedIn Messenger? Is it, I don't know, active referrals? Is it commission based? Is it a distributor? It could be anything, but it will all become clear once we've done this and once we lean in and seek the expertise of somebody who's proficient in setting up these systems and running them. Next, what we want to move to is we want to move down to, once we've got attention and responses and people want to talk to us, it's then, oh shit, so we actually got to talk to people now. What are we going to say to them? The great news is you don't need to say a lot. You just need to ask the right questions and know how to frame a call. So this is a mistake that I see a lot of people making in the world of engineering and manufacturing sales. They think that a sales call is an opportunity for them to show up and just vomit information over everyone. It's the exact opposite. You should be talking for about 20% of the time. The prospect should be talking for about 80% of the time. So you don't need to have any technical knowledge at this point. You don't need to be a technical expert. You just need to be able to frame a call, use an agenda, and use a script and a set of really powerful questions. But most importantly, you need to know what's the next step after this. What are you actually trying to achieve on this call? So you're trying to get them to come over here and take you up on a no-brainer first offer. Just before we describe what that looks like, I've put like 5 dots here because that's how simple this call can be. It can be as simple as just talking about things like time, budget, who's in the decision-making unit, does it align with core competency of what we do, what we offer, and then just any other variable. Is there anything else that they feel is really critical that we should know? Once we've gathered this information, we should know based on our positioning and our messaging whether they are an ICP. It should be ratified and confirmed at this point. So what we want to do is we want to move into a no-brainer offer. So a no-brainer offer is usually something that has minimal or no risk attached to it. So that means that it's usually refundable. So an example of this could be, a 90-minute masterclass, a half-day consult, I don't know, whatever it could be. It could be a demo, a trial, something where the risk is mitigated. They put skin in the game, the prospect puts skin in the game, but they know that if it doesn't work out, the risk can be immediately removed and effectively moved on to us as the seller. So once this has been done and they like that and they still agree that it would make sense to move forward and do more work, what we want to position is what's known as a level 2 offer. And this level 2 offer usually is driven off some sort of simple framework. So in other words, you should be able to deliver this offer in your sleep. It should be driven off a framework that you've tried and battle tested many times before. This level 2 offer should give pretty much outsized results and clear return on investment for the prospect. That then assists us to generate, I'm going to put this in green, a big step up in level of trust and a big step up in level of confidence. That then helps us lead on to what I'm calling a long-term commitment strategy, which is probably your flagship or hero offer. In my world, that would be, let's work together for 12 months. Let's work together on a coaching agreement for a minimum of 3 months. So it pretty much equates to what's your high ticket offer or your flagship offer. And that's usually ran off a couple of things. So you've got a framework, obviously, that you've used up here in level 2. But you've also got a couple of other things here. So you've got your experience in your domain, which is another differentiator on top of what you've already done up here with positioning and messaging. And you've also then got a really key thing that it's only through working with my coaching mentor I've been able to see how much this makes a difference, which is your energy. So combine your framework, your experience, your energy, and a commitment. Like, you can really achieve anything with the prospect. So this is where things get really exciting. Now, what's cool is what comes up after that is what I call a transformation takes place. And that leads to a high lifetime value relationship or partnership, whatever you want to call it. So as you can see, we can work through this in quite a logical, sequential manner. And the more people that we start to feed through this system, the more information that we're able to pull out. So you'll see there that we talked about lever 1. The second lever that I want to bring to your attention is actually up here in terms of the outreach. Anyone that's watched my bell curve video and content will know that we talk about mining the customer perspective. So as you do this outreach, this is going to do a couple of things. Yes, it's going to engage and drive insight-led discovery calls, but it's also going to inform you so you can improve this whole system by way of continual iterative improvement. So really what it does is it adds R&D, research and development, to this whole thing. So done properly, this should actually improve itself. This whole system should evolve, and it should actually kill off the first version of itself and replace itself with a more efficient, optimized version. So this is why, like, I call this lever 2, and appreciate we're getting a little messy here at this point, but hopefully if you followed me through here, this is something that will benefit you in your business right now. And as I say, hopefully this answers the question. What is the process? What is the system? What is the strategy? What is the plan that we can act on? There's loads of stuff we could do. Here's a relatively simple one for you to consider.